Hello and welcome to Perspectives. It's politics tonight, and it is important because things are happening. They're good or bad, I don't know, but things are happening. So far, people have complained that the incoming government, the PMLN government, has been dormant and hasn't done anything. But today, what's happened is certainly something they have done. Whether it's good or bad is a completely different discussion. First, the increase in power tariffs and the price of fuel, which is certainly a point of contention for many people. And then the not PMLN's confrontation, but the provincial dispute. I really don't know which word to use with Muttahida Qawmi Movement today because they are also upset about the happenings. Their press conferences back and forth. We'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about what's happening in Peshawar because Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the flag bearers of a new Pakistan, have the mandate there, and unfortunately, things are not so good. One would put some conspiracy theory ideas towards that why Peshawar suddenly, and why this obscene sequence of events. But of course, it needs to be discussed and looked at why. And also, I have done many shows on this topic, and I've said this many a times. If you keep an eye on the news, you will notice things happen in waves. For the longest time, alhamdulillah, God is kind, in Pakistan, there was no news of rape, karokari, wani, and any such atrocities. And suddenly, for the past 1 week, it seems there is rampant epidemic of rape, child rape. We hear 1 to 2 incidences every day. Why does this happen? Why does bad news come in waves in Pakistan? Is it just the normal consequence of crime? Or is there a conspiracy theory behind that as well? We'll touch all of these subjects and see what to expect in the next 100 days. My guest, my dear friend on my right, representing Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Group and the government, Mr. Nihal Hashmi. Also, thank you very much for being here, taking time out. On my left, representing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, again, a dear friend, Mr. Faisal Qureshi. Thank you very much for taking time out. Representing Muttahida Qawmi Movement, Mr. Ali Raza Abdi. So thank you very much for taking time out. On telephone with us, representing Pakistan People's Party, is Senator Dr. Abdul Karim Khwaja. Thank you very much for taking time out and being here with us. Now, I'd like to start with you. All 4 topics, I leave for you to comment on that.
Well, every subject, every topic requires a detailed discussion.
Sure.
And for instance, as you have said about my party, the federal government, if you recall that there was a national energy conference.
Yes.
And almost every stakeholders were present in that national energy conference. And after a long and detailed discussion, a tariff was made out and a timetable has framed. And thereafter, this matter was referred to the CCI, Council of Common Interest. And all the provincial governments were represented their respective units. And in that particular conference and meeting, an energy policy was made out by the federal government. And this is one of the portion of that energy conference in which the government has decided, all the 5 governments has decided to how to increase or how to maintain the tariff schedule. So obviously I will not appreciate or support any increase of any petrol or any energy or any grocery or any edible items. But to run the affairs of the government, it is sometimes you have to go for a very unwanted decision, unwanted things. So I think that this time this thing has took place. But on the other hand, if you hear it or not, but it has come to my notice that Supreme Court has already taken into the notice
Sure.
so moto note. So I think the matter is sub judice right now. So it is not appropriate at this moment for me to
Absolutely. Another,
go.
just one quick comment. This question is being raised on social media, and to both of you, actually, you inclusive, that last government raised the tariff by 8 rupees, petrol prices. There was a huge protest from MQM. And while People's Party was trying to raise prices, huge hue and cry from everyone. And of course, PTI, you are public enemy number one for them. Um, and there was, but now you are doing the same thing. So was all the protest and was all the complaints from Pakistan People's Party, were they unfair because they were doing the same thing?
Look, first of all, I would like to correct this contents or your word that they are the public enemy. No, they are our public opponents. They are not my enemy.
No, for them, you are the
No,
public enemy.
no. I never consider for myself. I never. Number two, I am not a historian nor I am a judge of past. That I can give my verdict that that was wrong or right or this is right or wrong. Let the people decide the fate of all these two agitations. And I think that yes, we can say no government with a very happy heart or willingly or very comfortably do such exercise. But yes, there is a lot of things to improve. Yes, we do admit that the conditions are not according to our wish, will, and desire. Under the circumstances, the government has gone for this. But let's better for a better future.
The good senator has to leave at 9:30. I'll take his comment first. Mr. Khwaja, how would you comment on all the things I've raised and also the current increase in tariff of electricity and fuel?
It is very unfortunate that this public government is raising on the directive of International Monetary Fund. Previously, People's Party was thinking that the Muslim League and other parties said that they must not do. So we held the pressure, we accept the pressure, and we didn't increase these tariffs. Now I don't know why the Muslim League government is doing these things. And at the same time, what is happening here in Peshawar, our policy was at the time to fight with these terrorists. But at present, we are giving the mandate to Muslim League Noon that they must have a talks. They are delivering on the top with these terrorists. Let us see that they will get the mandate to speak to these terrorists. I don't know what will happen. But in the subcontinental history, the lesson we have learned from this thing, this terrorism, that we fight. But at present, we want that let us, Muslim League Noon, we have a good relation with Taliban, and PTI is also having a good relation with Taliban. So let's see what happens.
Mr. Khwaja, I'd like to just interject here very quickly. You've had 5 years in government, and now new government is in place. Are the problems of this country so impossible to solve? Simple things like police reforms, simple things like better administration, that how many decades will it take for these simple things to happen, if I may ask?
I think that if the public government of this, first of all, we support Muslim League Noon. We want that they must complete the tenure of 5 years. And these type of election must held for 3 to 4 election if it is held accordingly and there is no other third party intervention, then Pakistan problems will be solved. The real problem is that there was no democracy, and I think if the democracy continues, these things will be solved easily.
Okay. Firasab, do you agree with that? That the cycle of democracy will solve the problem over the years?
Well, besides democracy, I don't think so. There is any solution of going back to dictatorship.
But it's the cycle of democracy a solution?
I'm not even talking about cycle.
Okay.
There is no cycle.
Okay.
There is only one way, democracy. Cycle is...
No, there's no discussion on that.
So
what I think is that the solution to the current problem?
It is, with democracy, there has to be good governance and transparency in the decision making. If you bring in democracy and through democracy you introduce dictators, or you bring...
Or bad management.
Or you bring family rule, or monarchy in the garb of democracy, the results will be no different than what we are currently seeing or what we have seen in the past. So we have to ensure that it is a government, famous Abraham Lincoln statement, of the people, for the people, by the people. Until this not, up till now, democracy in Pakistan is ruling by the elitist. The people do not have a right to represent because of the process which is involved. This country cannot afford the kind of democracy which we have. We as Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf have always been talking about proportional representation.
Okay.
Because that would be the democracy where there is no money involved directly of the individual, and therefore it can curb corruption, plus it can bring parties would truly be able to represent.
Past the philosophy of democracy, what Mr. Nihal has said, I'd like to pick up on that. And also, how would you comment on the problems that we're facing tonight?
Okay. As far as you see, there are many different solutions. The problem is identified. First and foremost, I think so that I, as PTI, would take an exception to the role of the judiciary in the present government, and especially also in the past government. I think so. The lines have to be defined. Everything cannot be taken up so moto.
Right.
There is a parliament there. A parliament has to play its role. There are people on the street. They have to play their role. The civil society has to play a role. The judiciary is not know-all. They have to interpret the law of the land.
Sure.
If they start interfering in the administrative measures, and if they start entering into the revenue phase, I think so they're overstepping. As far as everyone, Mr. Nihal Hashmi has stated that these are decisions which are not easy to take and they are bitter pills. But I think so the pill has become a bit too bitter for the people to swallow, and there were alternate solutions available. But due to the vested interest within their own party, they have not taken those decisions. Because everyone knows that what is the real problem? The real problem is revenue deficit. Is this the only way of raising revenue? What about direct taxation? Why is capital gains not taxed in the stock exchange? Because the value of the stock exchange will come down. Why is the gain on real estate property exempted from taxation? Why is wealth exempted from taxation today when the country is facing such shortage? Why are so many people out of the tax net? Why do we have so fewer taxpayers? What are we doing to bring those people into the net? These are real issues which they are not addressing for raising revenue.
No argument there. Revenue generation has to be increased. But the price of fuel and electricity, is it not true that we are subsidizing heavily, and this is really just catching up? And as Mr. Hashmi said, everyone agreed to this tariff, and everyone agreed to a gradual increase in the price.
You see, there are two things which
kind of scares me. There's more increase to come, but this is the first step.
No, nobody is happy. Rather, we already, the leader of the House and the Prime Minister of Pakistan already gave his categorical statement. With the passage of time, when we will increase the power through hydraulic system and other system, gradually we will decrease the rate of electricity and whatsoever. So we are trying to improve the capacity of producing more and more energy in a cheaper price and cheaper source.
Well, even if you read the press today, there are a lot of gas which was available which could be converted so that our dependence on furnace oil, which is an expensive commodity, that you wouldn't have that impact. They have not come out transparently that how does the tariff transpire when today they are producing 6,000 megawatts through hydroelectricity, which is at 2 rupees 30 pesos per kilowatt.
So the average is not so bad.
The average is not so bad. Right, the furnace oil may be costing them 16 rupees, but what about the hydel? And what about that electricity? Because even out of thermal electricity, more than 70% today is on gas, 30% is on furnace oil.
Okay.
So why doesn't the government to date come out with a calculation, show it to the people of Pakistan that this is what is happening? What have they done about bringing the line losses down in Karachi from 40 to 10 to 12%? What about from Punjab, where there was line losses were running in the high 20s and 30s, to bring it down to a more reasonable 15%? They wouldn't have to increase this much.
2 days and
No,
months
it's a matter of 4
control
months now.
those
If they
mechanisms
cannot stop
decide-
theft of electricity,
No, no, but
then
not
there
only
is an
theft,
issue.
But that's
But
but that's
besides
a
this,
national cycle.
Secondly, no, you see, I'm not
besides
talking
this,
about
the
line losses.
turbines, the motors,
Okay.
what do you call what
I like- I'd-
TMT
I'd like to
and
move on-
void.
I'd like to move
We
on
have
from
to
this.
remove everything.
No,
We have
not
to-
everything. Things have been, WAPDA has been spending money every year. KESC has
Don't
been
you know
spending money.
what is WAPDA, what is
No, I
WAPDA,
say,
and what the
why
officials
did you
doing
not
with
know
this
about this
transition
situation?
clause
Mr.
is
Nihal
clear.
asked me before coming to power. My question is that. Why did
But
you
we
not?
are doing-
Why
our
did you
intention is
not
very
say
clear.
that
Okay,
in your
if I-
election
if I-
manifesto
okay.
that our solution will be that we will raise the electricity prices
But
by
if
100%?
if I may move on and turn the table around slightly, I want to come to Karachi because when we talk about revenue generation, Karachi is the biggest, at least it used to be the biggest powerhouse of generation. I don't know if it is done, but maybe if you do numbers, it is. But practically, I don't think it is. And in the coming months and years, I don't think it will be at all the way things are going. We need to talk about that.
They close it for 40, 50 days and then it's closed for
And just the
200 days
general
in a
fear
year.
factor.
And the fear factor
So
and
we
the
need
law
to-
and
we
order
need to talk-
situation,
we need-
everything, something happens, they
we need
close
to talk
the
ab-
city down.
we need to talk of
With
that.
these kind of things, you don't think
We need
so the
to talk of
economy is
that.
going
And
to
when
go
you
on.
raise the point that did they not know when they came into government, you also made a lot of promises, and Peshawar is now asking very
give you
difficult.
the answer of that
We'll come to
question.
that. But first, let's start with Karachi, sir.
See, we have to understand that we are lacking basic reforms in Pakistan. In order
we know
to
all of that. We've talked about it.
let me tell you.
But now tonight,
Yeah. With respect to revenue generation that Firdaus Saab is also talking about, we have, we have 70% agriculture base in Pakistan. Most of our population is working for that sector. And that is called the backbone of the economy also at a lot of times and a lot of occasions. We are not taxing them. We're not taking income tax from there. We're not holding land reforms
but
or
if you come
whatever.
to Karachi, which was the powerhouse of generating revenue.
Okay, I'm coming there. I'm coming there.
Really coming.
So these are the basic problems that we are facing, and which has brought us to this level that once IMF gives us the money, and then they dictate their terms that what you need to do in order to do the recoveries. If you remember the RGST issue, where they clearly said that you need to find alternate ways, methods, and means to generate revenue in order to curb your losses and be financially viable. But the easiest way for us to recover money is by putting it on petrol, on fuel, or on electricity.
Or
because
generate more revenue.
in order to generate more revenue, this is how you.
Or generate more revenue in terms of industry, in terms of employment.
We don't work towards that. Unfortunately, this is an easy kill.
Okay.
So we go for the petrol and we go for this. Karachi being the revenue generating sector, city of Karachi, I say that all of Pakistan is involved in this. Okay, there are people from all over the country that are based in Karachi, and being a cosmopolitan city, we've got businessmen. We've got, because of it having the port next to it. Also, it's not Karachi's fault. Neither it's Lahore's fault that it doesn't have a port. The port is over here, so most of the trade in transit goes through here. And a lot of companies, including banks and many financial organizations, have their head offices in this area. All right, and the recovery in the income tax generation and the recovery is also most from this area, from Karachi, compared to other industries all over
the
Pakistan.
law and order situation? About
See, the law and
chaos
order.
that is Karachi.
Oh yes, it's horrible. It's horrible. The law and order situation is horrible. I'd like to take you back to 2002, 2007, 8, when Muttahida Qawmi movement was running Karachi, basically, and there was no phenomena of target killing. Rather, there was, it came out of a very bad period during the 90s because of state operation that continued. And that law and order situation was created. And then once you come into this period from 2008 onwards, there was a different government that was running the law and order situation. Till date, we do not have a home minister in Karachi who is supposed to be managing the law and order affairs. It is the CM Saab, chief minister, or whatever number of people that are with him who are running this show. But obviously, there is no sincerity shown from that side. If there was sincerity by the government, then there would have been at least a home minister who would be held responsible for all the law and order.
I like both your comments on Karachi as well, before we move away from Karachi. But before we do, I'd like to take Khwaja Sahab, would you like to say anything about this? And also, I'd like a comment on Karachi, sir.
the operation, that is targeted operation, is being successfully followed by the law enforcing agencies, and we support it. It is indiscriminate operation. And the other thing is that the democratic government, we must support. The judiciary is intervening every now and then. That must not be. Judiciary must play its own role, because during People's Party government, the judiciary intervened in different decisions making. That is posting transfer, that is establishing policies. It is a very wrong thing. So we want that this Muslim League government must get the judiciary must not intervene in these issues, and the target of Karachi is we support that.
All right. I need to take a short break. When we come back, I'd like your comments on Karachi. And both Mr. Naqvi and Mr. Khwaja commented on judiciary overstepping, sort of, directly or indirectly. Mr. Naqvi said directly. Is that true, or is that judiciary is really doing what it's vacuum they're trying to fill? I'd like to comment on that, and then we'd like to come to Peshawar, because that is really, unfortunately, what's happening there right now, and there's no guarantee it won't happen in any other city. Right now, that seems to be a very embarrassing sort of position for Pakistan and the people. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about all this. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Perspective. Now, I'd like to start with you. Your comment on Karachi, Peshawar, and why is it so difficult to solve the problems?
Well, the Karachi problem is not so easy to describe and explain within few hours, within few minutes of time. It's a legacy of various.
If I may interfere, I don't think Karachiites any longer want to understand the problem. They just want a solution. And even this is not your responsibility right now. You being
obviously
not the
it is responsibility of every individual Pakistani.
Yes, but
every individual
people are looking towards you, being the federal government, to solve this problem.
Sometimes when you say this is a mini Pakistan, but everyone call it as a mini Pakistan, but no one loves it as a mini Pakistan. They want to use mini Pakistan for their own personal vested interest.
Okay.
But when the mini Pakistan needs something to do for mini Pakistan, all of them have gone. So I think if someone calls Karachi mini Pakistan, then don't encroach the lands and parks and all these places of recreation of mini Pakistan. When you say that this is a mini Pakistan, then don't park your car in that roads and streets and highways of
Karachi. But that happens all over the country.
So no, not all. Particularly in Karachi, when you call it mini Pakistan, you made a claim on a mini Pakistan that this is my city, this is my place. But when you are using this word, you don't apply your mind how to serve this place. So this initial thing, when you want to establish your right, you grab it. But when this mini Pakistan wants some service, you say, no, I'm from somewhere else.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about
You're talking about the people of the city? You're talking about the political parties?
And political parties and administration and government officials.
But sir, with respect, what can the people of this city do? They're suffering.
No. Look, people of this city should have realized, and they should raise their voice, that they should come out and to save their city. Because principally it is the city of Karachi.
Are you suggesting that the people of the city should come out against you?
Not against me.
Against
every encroacher, every whosoever exploiting Karachi.
No, but
either it is me, you, or XYZ. Because just very recently I was somewhere else. I found the city was so green, so lush, there was no encroachment. The roads are clean, the parks are available, but nothing was there.
But you should also mention about the leadership of that country that you're referring to. You're talking about.
And they very categorically. I was in a city called Nembo. It is the sixth largest port of world and third largest port of China. They have said we have a population of 5.6 million and we have migrants 5 million. They have said immigrants and migrants from various parts of the China, other provinces. and they say we are also providing the same. We try to provide the same facility. They are not providing the same facility to those immigrants. But here in Karachi, what happens?
You seem to be agreeing with that.
See, Karachi is a city of 20 million people or above. We're still stuck on the census of 1997, where we don't know what is the actual population over here. And the facilities and the utilities that are being provided to the people in this city are not matching with the number of population that's available.
Sure.
So once we are serious about controlling the situation over here, we need law and order enforcers in that particular number that are available, that should be for a city of Karachi.
But do you know why I'm smiling? That the government tells me what's needed. You are the government. Whatever is needed.
We're in opposition.
No, you are the government.
Not only
In one
it is
way or the
not
other,
the
you
duty
are
of
the government.
Let me add something to it.
Please.
They are in opposition, but they were part of the government for 22 years. They did not hold a census from 1998 when it was due in 2008 after every 10 years. They let an unconstitutional step continue. How many times did they raise their voice? How much have they done when he's talking about there was no violence in 2008? What sort of an institution did they create in the police that once they left the power, it crumpled down? There was complete chaos. That's the kind of institutions MQM has created. They are personality driven. They don't believe in institutions and organizations.
You'd be a fine one to comment on personality driven. I think everyone's personality driven, including myself. I think everyone has personality because
when you talk about building institutions, yes, institutions may be created by individuals, but they have to.
The provincial government never take care of Karachi. What Karachi deserves.
And look at it. This is the sixth year of PPP in power. Now, for 5 years, they did not come up with a solution. What do you expect they'll do it now?
How can you have
and one more thing very important. When you go for job employment in government, there is a 2%. Karachi only gets share 2% in quota.
But again, you are the government.
Yeah, we are the government. I am not in the provincial government.
I know the problem.
It is not my liability and responsibility. Yes, if my government is here
when I said that, you told me about
we'll do it.
And now you're saying it's not your responsibility.
They were the government since last 22 years.
Please, absolutely.
So, Karachi has a police strength of about 35,000 people, while Lahore is almost one-third of Karachi's population and has about 75,000.
That's a provincial matter.
That's a provincial matter. Exactly, that is a provincial matter. This was something because since 2008, MQM was not in control.
But what about before that?
See, it was fine. It was a lot better. It was the same police. It was the same rangers that was here, and it was being controlled properly.
In the city. Why did you have rangers?
Rangers were brought in 1997.
No, but why didn't you send them back by creating the right police force? You were in cahoots with Mr. Musharraf. And you were cahoots with the PPP government last 5 years. Why did you not send the Rangers back? Rangers are a paramilitary force. They are not a civilian force. So why did you not reform the police?
They're filling a huge vacuum.
No, but why did they not reform the police? Why did you not, at least the population of Sindh, let's say even if the standards are wrong, even by the interpolation of the population of Karachi from 9.5 million, at the rate the city is growing at 6%, when you come to a calculation, everyone will say that the population of the city is between 13 million to 14 million. By the worst of the calculations, if you come by any statistical method based on the 1998 census. Do we have enough resources for that kind of interpreter? And where was the protest on it? Where was the allocation going on it? Where is it that allocation gone to other parts of the state? When we negotiated the provincial share, then also we should negotiate district-wise shares.
The issue is with the electricity and all over Pakistan that the growth was there, but there was not enough supply of production.
I really don't want to be philosophical tonight because you know what? This has become so tiring. And I have lived in the city forever, but today I'm exhausted. I'm feeling tired. I'm somebody who is very resilient about this country and this. I'm tired, so I just want the bottom line from Nihal,
We're all tired, okay? We're all suffering. It's not that only one person or one party is suffering.
so no
Everybody
philosophy. Straight in. What's going to go?
But, I mean, if
what's
you...
the next 100 days? Is this operation going to bear any fruit?
This
Look, you don't call it an operation.
Well, whatever you want to call it, whatever you wish to call it.
Police action.
Fine, police
To
action.
regain your writ of the state. This is and to regain
Will it
the
bear
writ of the state and to eliminate the criminals.
Do you think it will bear fruit?
No. Other thing, without any prejudice, and don't touch any innocent people.
Fine.
Don't victimize anyone on the basis of gender, race, cadre, and political rivalry.
Which big fish have we laid our hand on? Don't we know who the land encroachers are?
Who are the land encroachers?
Your people have given the name in the past.
Yeah, I do agree with you.
They are allies. They are allies of that party.
Primarily, this is the responsibility of the provincial government.
Provincial government and the law enforcers.
And the outcome and the result of this all, to regain the writ of the state, they will hold responsible.
I'd like to come back to Karachi, if the time permits, but I'd like to now go towards
KP.
Peshawar.
KP or Peshawar?
Same thing.
Okay. Frontier.
Whatever you wish to call it.
Okay.
Whatever you call it is irrelevant. It is a province, an important sector,
City is Peshawar.
important segment of
let's
Pakistan,
say it's a very important part
which
of
is
Pakistan.
a very important part of Pakistan. It is it is the buffer between us and a lot of world. And if it wasn't for this province, we would be very exposed. It is a province which is protected and stood for Pakistan forever. Today, it's Peshawar's turn, or may I say, that province's turn to lead for Pakistan. What's our plan as the federal government, as a provincial government?
Well,
in this particular case, both.
I just want
me to answer this
I'll
question?
take both.
Just want to make within a minute that beside all this law and order situation in Peshawar, I witness, and it is my experience, whatsoever the government is, who is in the government, whenever you're head of the government or state or delegation visiting United Nations or any country,
Something happens.
when the Prime Minister and the government is going to UN, unfortunately the
Always
Christians.
happens.
When you are going to China, unfortunately the Chinese are targeted. When you are going to Germany, unfortunately the Germans have been kidnapped and abducted.
True.
So don't take it as a very minor matter. Something is behind, something is fishy behind this KPK matters and all these
sequence
incidents.
with Nairobi as
So
well. That's
it is
also
not the time
something
to
can't
just
compete
leveling a allegation and
well
accusing
said. Well said.
CTI.
Very well said.
Thank you for that comment.
Very well said.
But as you stated, that you want the bottom line, right? The fact of the matter as we see it today is that we have been pursuing a policy for the last 5 years. The policy which we executed in Swat, in South Waziristan, and we are also seeing in North Waziristan. And we have seen what are the results. The results which we saw of that operation were that it was stated when the operation was commenced that within 6 months, everything will be honky-dory. It's on the record. I mean, I'm not sure. We gave it good 5 years. And we saw that the number of blasts which kept on happening. The question is that you have to determine what is the role of the armed forces in this country. Are the armed forces trained to deal in insurgency? They're not. Have we created within the armed forces a certain regiment or a division which would be trained to deal with insurgency? Because the role of an army is to destroy, occupy. While in the case of an insurgency, you have to weed people out. You cannot attack your own people and annihilate them.
It's a different kind of war.
It's a very different kind of war. The limitations of that war is that you have to hit out at the right people. If the collateral damage is huge, there are repercussions which you get in the form of Bangladesh.
Sure.
And we do not want another Bangladesh. So what are the alternates available? One side, you have to create a legitimate force which can effectively deal with miscreants and insurgents and criminals. And to create that force, unfortunately, the last 5 years, history is there. The ANP government was not focused on creating a meaningful force. To create a meaningful force which is trained cannot be done within a period of 3 months. I think so. On that count, you need a good 2.5 years to do it. Now, for 2.5, let me just complete, then Faisal, then you can. What we are saying is that it has to be a two-pronged strategy.
Okay.
One, you have to ensure that the people know that there is an effective force, that if we do not talk and come to our senses, because obviously whatever pressure has been exerted to date, Taliban is saying we are willing to talk, but first do this, first do that. But they are also feeling some pressure that they say we are willing to. They're not. Otherwise, they can say we are not talk.
But the list of the first is kind of
now look at
kind
it.
of bizarre.
Now look at it. What are the issues? Why is PTI saying talk? Because armed action alone hasn't worked. That's why we say talk. Why is PTI saying open an office? Because it is very important that people should realize that these are the people who are representing Taliban, the force which says it is doing these things, and like yesterday they came out with a statement that they are not involved with this. Now it opens yet another Pandora's box, that who is involved. We already know when the nation is weak, when the government is weak, and there are foreign interests playing havoc with this country, and not for now. It has been done when we opened our doors to foreigners to come and play against the Russians. And once we are supposed to talk to, we are saying, the people who are claiming, we are saying, here it is, we want to talk to you, please come forward. Is the same way, do the Americans know who
saying
are
that we need to change your constitution. They're saying
they
that
may say whatever.
You need to bring out the
Well,
army from
India
They're saying that
India
you
says
need
we
to
do not
release,
accept Kashmir.
you need to
Are we
release
willing
the
to talk to
prisoners
India?
from
No, but his
all of
point
this
is that the
jail.
demand of the
But then
India's demand is that they will never sacrifice
And
Kashmir.
if there are foreign forces behind
but
it,
we'll talk to them.
if there are foreign forces behind that, this menace in Pakistan, then why are you talking to the ground forces? You talk to the foreign countries then.
We
I mean, where are you going? Where are you heading?
in all patience, Ali's point is sort of valid, and people are asking this question.
Let me answer that also, please.
That the list of firsts that they're leveling
yes.
are
The
almost
first
impossible
No,
firsts.
the first which we want, the
All right.
first which we have been stating, not for now, for the last 5 years, that due to the culture of Pakhtun, KP, they will give protection to anyone who will ask for protection, especially if they say that we are in jihad. And we, as long as there are foreign forces involved in this region,
A very popular saying, Mafroods always get shelter in that area.
right? If this is their honor code. Now we want to finish this concept of protection to a person who is there. So unless and until that is why the drones and American involvement in Afghanistan, because do not forget this, that the Afridis are on both sides.
So may I
The tribes are on both sides of the border. As long as there is trouble in Afghanistan, there will be trouble in Pakistan.
That was the bottom line. Can I just assume a bottom line from this discussion? There's no hope.
No.
There is
always hope.
There is always
No, let's not be.
There is always hope.
Let's not be an idealist.
No, you have to be an idealist.
Practically all three
You have
of
to
you,
be an idealist.
the things
We
you
are
said
not
don't seem to be
only and
I
only
can't touch
nation in
them.
the world.
The comment
A lot of other
Let
nations
me
have
take Ali's comments. I'll come back.
The comment about our army not capable enough of dealing with the insurgency and issues, then we have paramilitary forces, of course, that should be dealing with all of that and must have been dealing. But we also have the army deployed at different positions all over the borders and the KP area, especially where different regions are. So we cannot just eliminate the army. The army has lost many people. Army has faced a lot of shahadas and levies and all of them. But that does not mean.
No one's
I didn't even say what
Army
you're
has
saying.
suffered heavily.
I'm not saying. I think so it's a very
Armed forces have
patriotic
suffered.
cause.
Armed
forces have suffered.
It is a glue, but what I'm saying
but
that
You
it's
cannot
not
eliminate
trained to
them
deal with
from
this
the fight against insurgency
they're not
just by
professionally
saying
trained.
that the army is not
What
capable of doing that.
point was that you need a special unit to deal with an insurgency.
The army is capable of having
fine.
all
That's your
those
point.
units.
That's your point. Fine. Sir, you were saying.
no. It's not a matter of a day or two. We have to have some short-term plan and long-term plan. And it is not a matter of a individual political party. It is not
Thank
a
you.
matter of PTI or PMLN or MQM. It is a national issue. We have to address this issue in a national basis. And we have to sort out the dialogues and the other means as well. And we should be not very optimistic that within 3 months of time we will eliminate all these things. Those who promoted them, those who supported them, those who were providing them the logistic, what is their nature, what they want, and how to handle those forces. This is very important. Then we have to keep in order our own house. Unfortunately, the various political forces and groups and Pakistanis, they are divided in various segments. So this is the time for the opinion leaders and opinion makers to come on a consensus that this is Pakistan's issue and how to handle and how to resolve.
I think the point you've raised is very valuable, and we're all friends here in the show. I think that it's past the time when a talk show host, a media house, an anchor, a journalist would hold you accountable as PTI and you for Karachi. I think it's a collective stake, and we are way past that. And we need to work together. If something is happening in a province which has your government today, does not mean it will not happen, and it hasn't happened in the past in a province which is under your control or under your control. I think Lahore has suffered tremendously at the hands of Karachi has suffered. Balochistan has suffered. It's a cycle. We have suffered heavily, and in our division within our own ranks allows our friends around us to take
I'm not talking about those who are talking as I said. There are some friends who are across the borders.
I'm talking about those friends.
Okay, all right.
That all the political forces and all other stakeholders of Pakistan come to a conclusion, come to a point that there is only way for coexistence.
We don't have a choice.
We have no other choice.
We have to stop. We have to stop propping ourselves against each other. Thank you. We have to go past the bickering. Ali, any closing comments?
See, very nice suggestion and very nice thought also. Actually, this is what coexistence means. All parties, like we did the APC.
I feel a butt coming.
Okay, I feel like the APC that happened, which unfortunately did not give out such a clear resolution as to where to take Pakistan and where take it forward. We would, and the people, and I believe we should have an APC or this matter should go into the parliament where a national counter-terrorism policy should be devised, which may be multi-pronged and which may include education, judiciary, terrorism forces, and whatever not. So
I'd like to suggest another thing on top of that. That's fine, great. But I think the time has now come. We're going to 2014. This nation is very smart now. It's not a stupid name. I think all governments, all political parties, you need to start taking the nation into confidence. If you're raising tariff, if you're raising electricity prices,
coming to my mind while Abdi was.
If you're raising electricity prices, at least explain why you're doing it.
We established a track to diplomacy with India. So I think we can't talk, and it is not possible to discuss all and resolve all the matter in one APC. So we should have a track to system in various political forces and parties.
But also
more
society. When will you start coming out in all honesty?
We have already
to the society.
We already
people of this
we have to find out and understand the conspiracies also. Where
thank you.
It has to be absolutely clear to everybody that hum log within Pakistan. Why are we enemies of each other? In fact, political parties, why are we always ready to bash each other and always ready to put the other one down? It's basically the media plays a lot of role in that. Okay, so
I disagree. I think so. I and Nihal are very good friends, and on that issue, we may have an ideological difference. We may have a different path to it, but I think so. We are always willing to talk. We're always willing to.
No or never for these 5 years.
But we are a good friend of mine.
New democratic government.
No, I think so. I'm against all
every political party.
There you go. There you go. Now he comes up with the word fascist.
I think
if you're not a fascist,
what happened here?
If you're not a fascist, then you don't have to worry about it. I'm not. I'm saying I'm against fascism.
Now we are talking about closing comments. We're talking about peace. And when somebody else comes up and puts an allegation,
we should come with our national agenda for another 20 years.
Thank you.
Minimum common national agenda.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that phrase. Thank you very much, all of you. Let's just hope and pray that we can work together. And I would really request all the political parties to please start coming out in all honesty to the society. The citizens of this country are no longer naive or vague. Social media, internet exchange of conversations and ideas, people understand things very quickly. When political parties or leadership or government tries to take ad hoc decisions and not take the society into confidence, I would like to advise them. It doesn't gel. The society now understands. The young people understand what's going on. Ali wants to slip something in quickly.
He's not ready to talk to fascists, but he can go
There
on
you
and
go.
talk to the terrorists and the Taliban
No,
who are blowing up the places, blowing up people
Yeah,
day and night,
after-
and that's how he comes on to fascists.
Good night.
Thank you.
I am willing to talk to fascists.